Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome one, welcome all to your Wednesday night entertainment here in CRF1. We're here for halfway point of the season already, round 6 here at the Shanghai International Circuit in China. And what a track this is, what excitement we, I'm sure, have for you this evening. And it is beautiful sunshine, which I'm sure the drivers will be very relieved about after what can be described as a difficult Monaco last week. If you haven't seen it, please do. It was a very difficult race for many. Of course, we had the mandatory 2 stops as usual, but now, of course, back to normal, and we are ready and racing as Dubs is one of the first to leave the pit lane. So good evening, everybody. Hope you're well, and hope you're looking forward to this. Brad is the first, and he is out on track in the Kick Sauber. Nice 15 people here racing this evening, which is great to see. We've got Snake, who's changed his name slightly. He's on computer this evening in the Alpine, so lovely that he is with us. And of course, we've got a bit of a championship on our hands, haven't we, ladies and gents? If you're part of the Discord, you will know that Jack is still leading the way after Monaco. Unfortunately, I don't have the Monaco results that weren't posted in the Discord, so unfortunately, just going with the championship standings. But Jack leads the way from Thomas by 17 points. But just behind Thomas is a certain Mr. Grimmott, and he is there not racing this evening, so that's going to hurt him in the championship, because Scott Y and WA only 4 points further back from him, and it's quite close a bit further back as well. So a lot of points once again on offer. McLaren are leading the way on 193 points in the Constructors' Championship from Ferrari on 156, so a nice gap from them. But Williams are there right behind the Scuderia, only 2 points further back, so there is a lot of swapping and changing, a lot of points on offer this evening, and I'm sure we'll see a couple of switches and a couple of changes at the end of this race, including in the championships. But a lot of drivers out on track. Thomas Vexman and Voxy, the only drivers left in the pits, but Brothers is the first man out on track, and he's got quite a nice gap. No one ahead of him, so he'll have a nice clean banker lap as he is on the soft compound tyres. Difficult track, this one, quite a long circuit as well. It is a 3.38 mile circuit, but it's got one of the longest straights in Formula 1. So it's a 0.727 miles or 1.17 kilometre length with the DRS wide open. So drivers getting up to very high max speeds. I'm sure we'll see well over 200 miles an hour, especially in qualifying trim with the DRS open. One of the favourite and main overtaking points on this circuit. Of course, there is a run into turn 1 as well, the start finish straight, the other part of the DRS zone. And this is one of the main corners you've got to get right. It is track that is actually inspired by the Chinese character Shang, which is also the character in the name of the city of Shanghai, which means above or ascend. So, who is going to be ascending to the top to get pole position this evening? What about the top of the podium? Well, 28 laps follows this qualifying session. So, quite a bumpy circuit, quite a difficult technical circuit for the drivers as well. So, I'm sure they are going to be really getting their eye and getting focused. A 35.2 to start with for Bradders. I think that time, of course, is going to come down with something a little bit shaky on the rear as well throughout his first lap. I think Dubs has sort of left his go, so let's have a look. Trem has invalidated Dormer through the middle sector. Let's have a look what he's doing in the Mercedes. Takes a bit of a wide line, difficult corner. This easy to lose the rear, and this is one again where the tyre wear is very, very difficult around here because of the high speed right hand corners, which puts a lot of stress on the left side tyres, especially the left front tyre. And as the drivers start to wear, it's so important to keep those tyres alive and not take too much stress out of them, as Mike now improves to a 34.2. ahead of both the kick salvers. Scott Warrior is in there as well as M2 goes at 34.9, but on the mediums, a 33.5 from Blood Diamond. So the other McLaren is beaten by Snake. These times are coming thick and fast. What about Dom? What can he do? As his run towards the line, has plenty of his battery left. It's a 34.4 into 4th place from him, and Andrew goes and usurps that at a 34.3 for the McLaren man. So good lap from him. Jack on a fast lap. Got a little bit of traffic. The kick salver moves out of the way for him. Hits the brakes hard. As he get that car stopped, he uses a lot of the inside curb there, which he can do, but he still can invalidate if you just time that slightly wrong. Important to get the drive out of there as well, and in another corner where easy to take too much speed over it. What's it going to be? It's a 34.3 on his opening lap for Jack. Just slots behind his teammate. So that's on board. Thomas is just starting. Trem coming through the end of the second sector. Oh, sorry, into the final sector, I should say. Driver standings quite close as well, so a lot of these drivers looking for a very strong result to set them up for the second half of the season. Voxy, yeah, oh thank you Voxy, yeah, it is a qualifying ban, I did forget about that. So yeah, you can do your outlap, come back in, and that'll do for you. And yes, possible rain in the race, wow. Oh, we love a bit of that, don't we? We love a bit of the damp stuff, especially, well, I do when I'm sat here. I don't have to battle with it. But that's going to be so a real cat amongst the pigeons, isn't it, around here? So we'll see how drivers are set up. It's quite a high downforce track, sort of a mid to high downforce, because of the high-speed nature of some of these corners. You need that downforce, you need that grip to be able to carry the speed through the sectors. You may hamper you down this straight here, down the kilometre-long straight, but if you can hold on, you can gain a lot of time in those mid-sectors to have that confidence and have that overall pace to maybe keep within the driver ahead's DRS, even eke that away just a little bit. But when it comes to rain, well, anything can happen, can't it? We see it time and time again. Thomas is going again. He's had given up on one lap, so let's have a look. What a Ferrari, still goes 9th though with that 35.0, so there's a lot of pace I think Thomas has got this evening. Let's see how well he does, but this track very heavy on tyres. Don't be surprised if we see 2 stops this evening. Even with the rain, we may see drivers choosing to just take a little bit extra out the tyres and try to neutralise that pit stop phase that they have and the time lost with the fresher tyres. But with rain, anything can happen. We don't know when it's going to come. Foxy, I don't think knows when it's going to come yet. I'm sure you would have told us, but when it does come in, well, we're going to have a lot of drama once again this evening, folks. As we're going with Thomas as he comes through the middle sector, he's got all of his battery left, so he's harvesting that very well indeed, and he is slightly slower through the middle sector, so this could be a better lap from him, but it doesn't look like it so far. But he has got a lot of battery left now. He uses some of it as he powers down that main straight. The drivers starting to set themselves up, readying them for a second run. I said it's a tyre killer around here. Let's get another. Because of some of the high speed nature, it is a safety car circuit, especially if you a few problems with traction in some areas of the track, and Thomas thought we were going, and he decides, nope, I am going to hit the pit lane. Who is on a lap? Let's have a look at the V car of Scott's Warrior. Comes to the end of his lap. It looks like he's got a Red Bull, misses the apex there. Pushing on now towards the end. He's got a Red Bull who is in the pits. Hopefully didn't put him off too much. Is it going to be improvement for him? It is, up into 6th. So a bit of a grouping there in the 34s, 34.2s, 34.3s. Quite a bit of a group that we've got forming. And of course Snake and Blood Diamond up there in the 33s on their first runs. So don't worry, Jonesy, I know you couldn't make it tonight, but that's all good. Hopefully he'll be back with us next week. There's got a few drivers on that lap. Let's have a look at M2. He did that first lap on the medium tyres. So let's have a look at his improvement, the grip that he's going to get, the traction that he's going to have out of all of these corners in the main traction zones. He's going to feel so much better, and he's 4/10 exactly up in the first sector alone. And then can he keep his tyres alive towards the end of the lap? That is going to be key. It's going to be interesting to see if he can keep flat out as well through that part of the track, which is impressive in qualifying trim. Not easy to do in race trim though, especially if you're following another car and you have that dirty air. This, of course, is one of the very difficult traction zones. You're full throttle, but the car's still turning, and easy for the rear just to step out. Another improvement again. This could take him into that 34.3, 34.2 point that we've seen so far. Aston Martin coming down the kilometre straight. No cars ahead. Alpine way farther down the track. So not going to help him with the tow this time round. But this is where the traction's going to help him as well. That Aston looks absolutely planted. But there are a number of drivers who still do use full traction control. A few drivers actually use medium traction control as well, and it is a good improvement up to 34.0 for M2. But they also use racing line as well, so a lot of these drivers needing sat nav to find their way around a number of these circuits, no matter how much they practice them or how long they have been racing. And Andrew improves into the 33s. Good lap from him, so he'll be happy with his improvement on his second run. So where's his teammate? Just leaving the pit lane, so we'll leave him be for now. Let's have a look at Snake. He is slightly up on his first sector, just over half a tenth. Coming into the tricky part of the middle sector. A lot of battery left. And what can he do? Heavy braking. I think there is traction control being used there, heavy on the throttle. The rear didn't step at all through there. Usually you're feathering the throttle through it, just keeping the grip, keeping the car turned as you change direction quite sharply and then start to get the power on round the banking. But it's full throttle for Snake. So let's see what he can do to come to the end of this lap. Throttle's pinned. Heavy on the brakes, still got half the throttle on, so he seems to be riding both of them, but it's going to be an improvement. It is, it's a big improvement by just over a tenth, so it's a 33.2 for Snake. Setting the gauntlet down. Where is Liquid Gas? He is come to the end of that lap. Where is Thomas? He's on a lap on the medium tyres. I'm interested to see what he can do. Can he improve on his second run? Interestingly, Jack normally does a second run on the soft tyres, but hasn't this time on. Looks like he's actually using his used set. Yeah, Vexy's not showing up. No problem. Gives us a bit of excitement, doesn't it? That little bit of uncertainty. So, Thomas, does he improve? He does. Massive improvement, a 33.7 from Thomas. Now then, where's Liquid Gas? Let's go with an onboard lap down the start-finish straight with the championship leader into turn one. Throws the car in, just let the speed drop off down the gears. Gets to the apex of turn 2, turn 3 down the hill. Easy to lose the rear here through turn 4. There it is, but no such problems for Jack. I know he is 0 assists. Although I think, oops, pardon me for that. Sorry, so kink of turn 5 and then into the first sector. Oh, got on the, wow. Oh, big mistake from Jack. Got on the curb. And that's his lap over with. This time round, it was a great first sector as well. So he's going to be very annoyed by that. Vexman on an out lap. Waiting for the McLaren to move out of the way, which I'm sure he will shortly. So let's have a look. Silent Hunter is on a slow lap at the moment. What about Trem's invalidated? Dub's still in the pits. Let's have a look. Mike's gone on the hard tyres, so that's going to be an interesting one. We'll keep an eye on him actually, because taking those, he's gone for the harder setup and the harder allocation of tyres. Giving himself a little bit more options during the race. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do on those. I think he's doing a second warm-up lap. Wise decision. Hards do take that bit longer. Jack not really. Jack's not wanting to let Vexman through. He's wanting to do another lap, but oh, Snake's retired. Snake is retired. Is that in the pits? I think it is. So Snake's done for this session. Jack back in the pits. Trem's retired as well. Who's just starting a lap? Where's he gone? There it is, Vexman. Let's do another on-board lap, shall we, ladies and gents? Into turn 1. Just balancing the brake, balancing the throttle, trying to keep that speed up. Second gear takes a late apex through 2. Into turn 3, keeps it tight. Easing the power on. Turn, oh, a little bit slidey. Won't be happy with that one. Bit scruffy through 4. Turn 5. Does he get the braking right? 100 meter board. Turn 6. Get that car turned. It's wide on the exit, so you can't get the power down early. Up the hill. Is he going to be flat? Through turn 7, he certainly is. Just drops it down again. Keeps the revs up, keeps it high, and then to the long turn 8, keeps it to the right hand side. For turn 9, very difficult, very slidey, a lot of understeer on that Red Bull. Flat out through turn 10, no such problems for him. What's his second sector? He is up. Heavy braking, then into turn 11, then the turn 12, the long turn 12. This is all about the traction. See that 3/4 throttle till the grip was there. Full throttle now. Powering down to turn 13, the banking. Down the kilometre long straight. Nothing you can do now, just sit for the ride. DRS wide open, using a lot of his battery. It's not going to work when you're in a straight line in those higher gears. Where's he brake? About the 100 metre board. Just a bit too late, but gets the car rotated. Does he get the drive out? Just about. Through 15. Now then, turn 16, the final corner. Takes as much of the curve as he can. Uses it on the exit very nicely indeed. And what's the improvement? It is up to 6th for Vexman. I think there's a bit more time in there, I'll be perfectly honest. I really do. Only a minute left as well of the session. So this is it, ladies and gents. The final run for qualifying. Mr. Mond, good evening. Good qualifying so far. So you improve now. Get yourself up. Hopefully to the front row. Thomas is not coming out again. So Thomas will be 3rd at best. Snake currently provisional pole position by 0.3 of a second. He has retired from the session. But now, folks, 35 seconds left. It's going to be a bit of a push for some of those drivers if they want to get round. I don't know where Silent Hunter is. I think Silent Hunter's coming into turn 11 and 12. So he's going to have to sort of get his skates on a little bit. Because believe it or not, that kilometre long straight is a kilometre. It is a long straight. Especially when you're up against them. I don't think he's going to get there. It'll be interesting to see if those cars, the Aston Martin and Liquid Gas there, manage to get over in time. I'm interested to see if the blue car behind goes in the pit, so he won't. But now, oh, look at that. The Aston Martin and then Liquid Gas just get their laps underway. Let's doing a good lap here. So similar times to his previous run on the medium tyres. We're going to leave him, but Andrew, he's clear. So he's up on his city time as well as he's going to push towards taking 3rd place. We'll leave him be. What about Liquid Gas? He's up again on his time. Oh, look at that again. Both tyres locked. The rear tried to come round on him. This is difficult. We're on turn 6 again for Jack. Needs a big improvement. Currently down in 10th. Will make this race very, very difficult for him as the checkered flag has fallen. Scott's Warriors put it up into 4th with a fantastic final lap. He'll be very happy with that. Monster coming down the kilometre straight. What can he do as Jack? Let's come back to Jack because Monster coming to the end of his lap. What can he do? Can he get himself back up onto the second row? Can he make the front row of the grid? Big points on offer for him. Pushing towards the end, using as much battery as possible. It's going to be a good lap from him. Does he improve? It is! 3rd for Mr. Mond. Fantastic lap. What about Jack? He's slightly up on his time. This could bring him into the fold. This could bring him into the top 6 if he's got the pace. Has he got the grip? Has he got the speed? Just keeps it on the white line. Only just, and it doesn't improve. He improved, but only just 10th for a championship leader. Them two crosses the line last of all, but in 6th position. Wow, so that's a bit of a topsy-turvy qualifying session. A few shocks there, but there we have it. Snake takes pole position. Blood Diamond on the medium tyres as well in second. Andrew in third. Thomas on the mediums in fourth. Scots Warrior fifth. M2 in sixth with Vexman ahead of Mike Taylor. Dom in ninth. Liquid Gas Championship leader in 10th. Bradders in 11th. Silent Hunter 12th. Trem 13th. Dirty Dubs 14th. Foxy with that qualifying ban in 15th. So, I think it's a top four. They are... right, okay. So... Oh, there's the wet. Wow. Well, that throws the qualifying tyres out the window, because that is surely intermediate tyres. So, Jack's saying his controls saying it keeps turning him left, so it seems to have a bit of a stick drift on that one. That is very difficult, especially with these long straights. That is not what you need. You can kind of get away with it at tracks like, well, I was going to say Monaco, that we were last week, maybe Hungary, that's tight, twisty circuits, but yeah, around here with the long straights, that's going to be a tough ask for Jack this afternoon. Fingers crossed for him that he manages to either turn that off, turn it back on again, the controller that is, or has a spare. So fingers crossed for you, Monster. It was unexpected to be P3, but a great qualifying for him. Let's have a look. Snake says, enjoy the race. Yeah, we certainly will. We all certainly shall. All 14 of you, lovely to have you with me this evening. Please do get involved when you can. Be fantastic to have you. But these conditions, yeah, Monster's not happy with it. Well, hopefully you got a bit of a wet setup. And let's hope it goes dry during the race, and quite quickly. Voxy said he didn't know when it was coming. Well, it's here. So it came a little bit sooner than he would have thought. Well, of course, now here we have the wet stuff and the difficult stuff. So let's see what the drivers make of it. Who has set up a bit of a higher downforce on especially the rear of the car. We've seen how difficult it is for traction around some of these corners, especially that mid-sector. Well, of course, turn 3 exit, then you've got turn 9 and 10 difficult, turn 12 difficult as well for rear traction because they are long corners as you're applying throttle. So this is going to be very, very tricky indeed. So drivers will be readying up very shortly. As mentioned, do get involved, ladies and gents. Well, surely, normally we'll go through the tyres, which we certainly will, but I'm pretty sure what's going to be on the intermediate tyres in this. But I'm interested. I am very intrigued. I'm very interested to know when it's going to change. If it is going to change it also. Key factor looks very murky. Looks very set in, but at least it's not hairy dark skies. Yeah, it is going to be a fight, Jack, but no, fingers crossed for you, my friend. See what you can do. Do whatever you can. Get some points this evening. Important in the championship for you. But it's going to be interesting to see who's left what tyres. Because if it's... Of course, the drivers will have chosen their tyre allocation before they have known the weather. So, those who have used all the softs, I mean, they don't last long around here. As I said, it is an absolute beater for the tyres. And basically, you think the mediums are going to be the key factor here. So a few drivers will have a few, well, every driver will have a fresh set of mediums and a fresh set of hard compound tyres, but it's going to be interesting to see who has what else is left in their locker. Of course, it depends on when the rain does stop. And here we are. Of course, now then, formation lap time. And it is all intermediate tyres. Of course it is. So, Snake leads us away from the grid. Everyone seems to have got away cleanly. It's all now just about exploring those limits. With all these seen, we already know from qualifying, the intermediate tyres can take a couple of laps just to warm up. Usually you would use a bit of a lower tyre pressure to get the heat into these tyres, but not always easy to do around here, because then you've got to think about if it goes to dry conditions, then you've got to look at the pressures on those, and of course the lower the tyre pressure, the hotter they are, and then of course the wear comes into it as well. And with these high speed long corners such as here, turn 7, turn 8, then it's going to be very difficult for drivers to keep the wear down as much as possible in the tyres. So they are saying a 1 or 2 stop for the intermediate tyres, 4 sets of the intermediates they get, 2 sets of wet compound tyres. Hopefully for everybody it's not going to get any wetter. We don't mind though, do we? Brings a little bit of action, brings a little bit more jeopardy into the race this evening. So important to get the heat into these intermediate tyres as much as possible. Snake there controlling the pace, he gets the best opportunity to get the heat into them. But don't forget, we've got a few people fast starting as well from behind who are known as quick starters. But Snake is a quick starter himself. It's going to be interesting now, I think, because we've got the slippery conditions. Don't forget, full tanks of fuel as well. Potentially a bit colder tyres, not going to be an optimal temperatures for the drivers at the start as well. And the reason I say this, turn 1, 2 and 3 gets rather tight into turn 2, of course, as it gets slower and narrower. And then, of course, the switch into turn 3, we may see some big movers and shakers through the opening lap, but hopefully everybody is well behaved. Hopefully we don't have any collisions or anybody coming together. Oh, Monster just went a little bit over his markers, so now he's going to start looking at them there at the bottom of the screen, starting a bit further back in his grid slot. Sally Hunter and Dubs also forgotten how to park, and then Voxy well far back in his grid slot. Now then, we have a beautiful view down the grid. We are going to have 28 laps in the wet here in Shanghai. We have 5 red lights, CRF1. Let's go racing, and it's a nice steady start from all the drivers. A lot of wheel spin from Jack there in the background, but a good second phase. Blood Diamond challenging into turn 1. Oh, there's contact already with Snake. Snake turned in. Monster gets slippery as well. He's dropping positions on the outside. Can't get the car turned at this moment in time. Snake drops one. Thomas is up into Mike with a Monster starting the Williams. There's been more contact. Who's that with? I think that's Blood Diamond. It is. It's Blood Diamond and Snake still side by side. Turn 3. Turn Snake getting back. He does through the kink of 5. But now heavy on the brakes for the first time. Snake on the inside line, slipping and sliding through the middle of there. Monster's caught in the middle of Voxy and Scott. Voxy, what a start from Voxy. Wow, up to 7th from 15th. Disaster for Monster at this moment. Long way to go though. So he's just now finding his grip. He's not the best fan of intermediate weather, is Andrew. But I'm sure he'll just settle down as the place is now. Everyone just settles into a rhythm. Side by side is all well and good, and oh, that was a Red Bull effectsman. Oh, who's that that's gone off there? Who was that? That's Liquid Gas. Ah, Liquid Gas. He's struggling with the controller. Oh, that's heartbreak for him. He's just struggling with his equipment this evening. Technical problem. Oh, no idea. Championship leader as well. I'm sure he'll come into the pits and lead that one this evening. Heartbreak for him. But look at this, we've got Trem already battling with Vexman side by side. No DRS, and I don't think we're going to get any DRS either this lap as well. Further up we've got Scotch Warrior. Voxy is absolutely flying on this opening lap, already up to 6th. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not Lance Stoll. Oop, there's a few drivers there go very, very wide indeed. That was Andrew and Brothers followed him suit. So good start from Brothers and Trem. They were up a number of places themselves. Now Jack's continuing on. They're giving it a go. But difficult night already for the Papaya team. But Snake already 1.6 seconds to the good. Mike, look at this. Wow, look at this with both the Aston Martins. Voxy is absolutely flying. He's already into 6. He's already on the back of his teammate. Oh, we've got to see 3 minutes. He's going to try and take 2 with them. He's going to try and take 3. There was Blood Diamond contact. That was him too. No, sorry, it was Voxy. He took 2 and then almost took 3. Blood Diamond was unsighted by it, so he has dropped back. Voxy giving those places back, which is very fair indeed. I think the first 2 were okay. Just couldn't quite slow the car down enough. Because Blood Diamond wouldn't have known he was there. And That's where the contact came from. Doesn't look like any damage. Let's have a look at Blood Diamond's car. That looks okay as well. Thank goodness for that. That's the last thing we need. Oh, as M2 gets on the curb, so does the V-carb. Driver's really struggling for the grip at the moment, but Blood Diamond now dropping off the back of this. Look at Mike, look at M2. Oh, through turn 12. What about his teammate? We've just seen how voxy is and how quick he is, and he's still looking at Mike as Mike's come back to the inside. Please leave room, folks. That's a big collision waiting to happen, but Voxy gets the move done. And he's now up into 5th already and challenging his teammate. Voxy is up into 4th. What a lap this is. Oh, look at this. Scots Warrior's looking a bit racy as well on Mike. Mike's dropped a couple of spots here. Don't forget DRS is not enabled as well. So we've got fastest laps being traded as well at the front, but Voxy pushing on. Up into 4th already now. A bit of a gap. 2 drivers ahead. Let's get rid of all that now. He's got his teammate right behind him for company there. Is as Jack has now set the fastest lap of the race. So hopefully he's got his glitches on. Yeah, Mr. Gold, it certainly has. Yeah, he's wished him good luck, and wow, he's having some fun, alright. Everyone else struggling with the grip. Don't know if Foxy saw it coming and has taken a higher downforce setup, because he is really pushing on Vexman. Brothers and Trem having a little ding dong as well. Mr. Morn having a battle with Mike, so Mike really struggling. Monster starting to get the feel for the car, starting to know where he can turn the throttle application as well. Now he's back up into 7th, but Mike's not letting this one go. I think he's going to have to. Is he going to send a late one in? He does. Monster gives him room. Good race in between them, very respectful, and that's what Andrew is very good at, must admit. Now Foxy hasn't been able to close now too much this lap on Blood Diamond, but we'll keep an eye on that one. And now, interestingly, in the championship standings, Thomas closing on Snake, going to the off the line just to maybe cool the tyres a little bit. Snake now following suit. There's not a lot of standing water out there, but he will give it a go nonetheless. It will help. I tell you what, Thomas very quick in a straight line, now pressuring the leader. Thomas looking to really push on, close that gap, potentially take the championship lead from Liquid Gas, who is in 13th, and he's coming to the back of the train, which involved everyone up to as Trams had a moment somewhere, I think, gone deep, and now Liquid Gas back up to 12th. This will be a heck of a comeback from Jack. He started 10th, don't forget, and then was a good 6 seconds off the back of the park, then sets fastest lap the next lap, and is now right there in the mix as well. The dodgy controller to boot with it. And Mike now, once he's got past Mons, a few gaps opening up, which is going to be interesting, because once the gaps open up when you have DRS, that usually is sort of your nail in the coffin, isn't it? It's one of those you can't usually catch them back up, but at this moment in time, I think with the no DRS and of course the weather, which looks like it's getting a little bit lighter, that rain, so it's going to be interesting to see if it does stop, and if we do see the DRS enabled, who's going to have that outright pace in the dry conditions. And I think there's a few drivers who have struggled so far. Whoa, look at Voxy going very sideways. There is a penalty early on, that is 3 seconds for Vexman. So the Diamond's closed a couple of tenths, but Voxy's still ahead of M2, and he's closed a couple of tenths as well to the back of the Mercedes. I think we're going to have another little battle coming soon. I'm taking to the right hand side. He's going to try and break the toe, but also we'll just try to cool the tyres just that little bit offline. But it does look like it has stopped raining. That's right on board with Voxy. Has it stopped? It has. So that's going to be drying up very soon. I tell you what, our leader's decided now's the time. He has pitted already. He's the first one to bite the bullet. Let's have a look at the tyres that he's going to choose. So, start of lap 5. The rain has stopped. Is anyone else going to take the pits? I don't think the Liquid Gas does as well. And I think that's Dom as well that's taking the pits off. So mediums for Snake. Probably in these conditions, not a bad call. There'll still be another, but his DRS is enabled. Liquid Gas on the hard tyres. they'll be tough with lack of grip out there. But the DRS enabled it is dry enough now. So, what can this group of drivers do? Thomas with a 2-second lead to Blood Diamond, with Foxy and M2D2 right behind. What can they do with the last of the grip on their intermediate tyres? Are they now going to struggle? Are they going to follow suit and pit this lap? And what about the warm-up for Snake? Don't forget he was battling right there with Thomas. Now, it's all going to play out in half a lap's time. As Foxy struggling a little bit for grip, so is M2 as well. All the drivers just trying to eke the tyres out, but really struggling at this point. Blood Diamond and Thomas still hovering on that 2-second mark, came down a couple of tenths and has crept up just that little bit more, but the DRS is enabled for the first time, and Voxy's going to have it because he got a great drive around the banking, and the rear wing is going to pop open, I'm sure, on that Aston Martin. It didn't, so he was a bit farther back than we thought. M2 did have it, but has just backed off a little bit. Where's Thomas? There he is. Is he going to pit this lap? Surely. You have to, don't you? He stays out! Thomas stays out. Blood Diamond in the pits. Voxy stays out while M2 goes in. Well, and yes, Thomas sets the fastest lap as well, so that's an interesting. So does Foxy now. So this is going to be an interesting one. Are we at the crossover? That is a big question. So let's leave those be, because everybody is pitting. Wow, goodness me. Everybody pitting. Let's go around and find somebody who hasn't. Let's go to the leader. Actually, let's go with Liquid Gas. Oh, Butters, just speeding a little bit more. Now, Liquid Gas has got through on Dirty Dubs. He's on the hard compound tyres. There are the drivers ahead. Everyone on the medium. Scots Warrior's gone for the hard tyres. So is Liquid Gas going to gain any places? Where is his teammate actually as well? There's his teammate! Wow! So Liquid Gas pitted one lap before, but on the hard compound tyres, and comes out ahead of his teammates. Such was the gain that he made. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. Not sure who that's for, but it's quickly cleared up. But Liquid Gas now finds himself in 8th. On the hard tyres, well, we'll go long into this race, compared with Snake Blood Diamond, who's dropped a couple of tenths. Ooh, there's Manjamond, goes a little bit deep there into turn 6. But Jack, now this is going to be interesting, because he'll now start to have heat in those hard tyres. We've got a beautiful helicopter shot through turn 7 and 8, uses a lot of the inside curb through there. Then into 9. How is this car behaving? It looks quite good, to be honest. Looks okay so far, a little bit squirrely, and we know Jack's struggling a little bit with technical issues. There's that beautiful helicopter shot for a while. We've still got 2.5 seconds now to the back of Mike, who now is going to battle with Scott's Warriors. Thomas now does pit. What about Voxy? He pits as well. Is this a lap too late for them? Because we're seeing drivers now really pushing on the dry compound tyres. It is definitely dry. Our leader's going through the final corner. Where's Snake? Where are the other drivers? Snake sets the fastest lap. Where's Thomas? He's at the end of the pit lane. Snake comes out in the lead. There's Thomas. He's not even left the pits yet. So big undercut, but Thomas on the hard tyres as well. So that's going to be an interesting one. Blood Diamond is there as well. So gained quite a lot of time. M2's got through on his teammate. Foxy, importantly for him, got out ahead of Scott's Warrior. Spotters gets a 3-second penalty as well as his 10-second. So, a bit of a mix and match here, folks, in these changing conditions. And a mix of tyres. That's going to be interesting. Normally I will get rid of those tyres off screen, because we've seen it. Once we've seen it, we know what everybody's on. Not now, because there's such a mix, and drivers battling now and just go out the pits. It's different on the race start, and it is starting to get brighter, so if it starts to warm up, this is going to help the hard tyres more than the mediums. The mediums will come to life very, very quickly indeed. But I tell you what, 5 seconds Snake has gained on those extra laps that he's done on those medium tyres over Thomas. Blood Diamond, again, but it's a difference of tyres. This is not over. We've got 22 laps to go. And anything can happen with the difference of tyres. Jack's starting to close a little bit to this Foxy Scots and Mike Taylor battle. And now it's going to be interesting to see as Foxy goes offline. with Diamond and Thomas having a battle further on. I think we're going to see a B car coming through. There he is, Scots Warrior with a DRS, but Foxy's not going to let it go. Just both give room. Good racing. Good awareness from Scots Warrior as well. As now Snake takes another fastest lap. So, Foxy seemed to be very quick in the wet conditions, but look, there is Liquid Gas in the background. The Papaya Army is marching towards this battle. And huge in the championship. Look at Mike, he's battling. Oh, there's some contact. Oh, that's hard work. That's harsh on Foxy. I'd say that on Stewards. I'm not 100% on that one. Which way to turn with that? I'll be perfectly honest. I think Mike had it fair, and then it's a difficult one. That is a very difficult corner. Especially when you're trying to then get the switch back for turn 2 and you've got turn 3 and you've got blocked a little bit maybe with Foxy, and if you do make contact like that, the cars just get intertwined, and whatever you do with the steering, it just doesn't seem to work. So we move on. Mike is back up into 6th. Foxy now drops to 7th after his early 4-lap flurry. Has charged through the field, his teammate further up the pack. Now I just wonder, is that more of a higher downforce setup for Foxy? As Mike goes very deep through turn 11, that's going to really hurt his exit as well, because we've got Foxy looking to pounce. We've got the Papaya Army looking to pounce as well, all within DRS, and Liquid Gas looks like he got an absolute slingshot off the banking. Let's take a look. Wow! I'm glad we looked then. But there's one. Is Jack going to have a look as well under braking? He comes to the inside. Is Mike going to see him? He does as Jack. Oh, I guess 3-second warning. He took too much to the inside curb, but Jack is through into 7th. Andrew not quite close enough this time round. Andrew just playing the percentages as he does. Just buys his time, finds the time to do it. Now, of course, we've got the DRS down the start-finish straight. Is Jack going to have a look into turn 1? Not quite close enough. Look at this round the outside. Mike now joins the 3-second club. Not sure how through turn 1, but he managed it. Might have gone a little bit wide. But if you do, it sort of drags you off a little bit. So I'm not sure how he got 3 seconds through there, but hey-ho. And I think we're going to see quite a few penalties throughout this race. Blood Diamond, that gap I mentioned was quite high. Well, it was actually with Thomas. So Thomas, the hard tyre is not quite working for him, but Blood Diamond closed the gap a little bit to Snake. Now only 4.1 seconds. It's pulled away from Thomas as well from his DRS. So M2 sort of just kind of defending now from Scots Warrior, trying to close as well the Thomas, the hard tyres, but those, as we've just seen with Jack and Scots Warrior, now the heat is in them, the grip is there. Now we're going to see the hard tyres, I think, come into their own. It's going to be quite nip and tuck, I think, between the two tyres. But as it gets drier, if it warms up, you could see the shift change and ebb and flow throughout this race. And then look at this. Here's Scots Warrior on the Aston Martin, breezes through with the DRS. Didn't really find that one too hard. Liquid Gas as well, it comes through. Was having a little look at Mike, but in the DRS nothing he could do. But I think Mike goes deep. Is this going to give Andrew a little bit of impetus to come close? He is, but he hasn't got much of his battery left, so he's going to have to wait and charge the battery up again. Mike goes very, very wide. Is that going to help Andrew as well? He's going to try and have a look at the turn 1. He just jinks out, just makes Mike think about it a little bit. Tries to put him off. Mike takes a wide in-sweeping line, one of the lines that many drivers use around here. Some people take that tight line all the way through. Some people take a wider line with a later exit. Look at Dom and Vexman doing battle there as well in the background. So battles are plenty. Ooh, as Vexman gets very, very slidey through turn 3. But plenty of battles, and Blood Diamond's taking another half a second out of Snake. So this is going to be interesting to see now how that extra lap is helping Snake or not, as the case may be, and who's looking after their tyres, who's pushing quite hard. That's going to be a big factor. As mentioned, it is difficult to keep your tyres in the working window around here because of the high speed nature of a lot of these corners. Some of them 5th, 6th, 7th gear, and look at the banking, you're accelerating all the way through the gears as well. But the only kind of respite you get, and the only respite the tyres get, is down this way and straight. But if you're battling like M2 is to get back past on Scots Warrior, then you're not going to have much of a breather. Scott's Warrior very quick in a straight line. Jack also looks good in a straight line. Managed to keep ahead of Voxy. Chasing pack behind. Vexman and Dom now having that little scrap, and now Vexman gets through on Dom. As a little bit wide for the Aston Martin there through the final corner. So that gap now 3 seconds with Diamond, so he's enjoying these medium tyres at the moment. A bit more of a drier setup that he's got, but it seems to be balanced perfectly. Currently sitting 5th in the championship standings, but we got YNWA missing as well this evening. He was only 10 points behind YNWA, and 16 in total. I think it was, no, 14 in total behind Grimo. So good strong showing for Blood Diamond, could catapult him up in the championship standings, and he's certainly showing that at this moment in time. So Snake as well needs a good result. And we could see a bit topsy-turvy as mentioned, but Liquid Gas currently good recovery from his lap 1 excursions, currently in 6th, but has that 3-second penalty. So I'm interested what he can do on these hard tyres, how long he can take them, and of course what's going to happen towards the end of this race. How long can he take the tyres? He's going to potentially be on the quicker medium tyres, which we've seen in the opening lap or so, but after that we've seen the hard tyres pretty much hold their own quite nicely. You know, Thomas dropped off the back, and that gap is still 1.3, 1.4 seconds to Blood Diamonds. So, you know, this is going to be an interesting battle of nutrition. I think Andrew's now closer to Mike. Oh, not quite close enough. Under brakes. Oh, I think there was a little bit of a tap. A little lock up from the Williams. There was a tap. No damage to the McLaren, luckily. He'll continue on his merry way, as I think Mike has pit. He's only done 5 laps on those tyres. I told you it was a tyre eater, but that's a lot of laps. And look at this, Foxy and Jack. Got a rubbish camera angle through there. Foxy on the inside. Oh, there's been a little contact. There was room at that point, I think. And then just the understeer of Foxy. There was a little bit of contact with Jack. We didn't have the best angle for it. If there was a slight squeeze or if there was room given. Again, it's that nature of that corner. Trying to put a nose in it. It's a gap that's always going to close, but again, we'll see it from the racing driver's point of view. I'm sure later on. Now, Liquid Gas has dropped. It's still 2.4 seconds. Not able to close to M2 and Scott's Warrior at this point. Thomas has closed a couple of tenths now to Blood Diamonds. So are we seeing that changeover now? Are we seeing the medium tyres struggle that little bit more than the drivers on the hard compound? We saw Mike pit, and he has now come out in 14th on the hard tyres, and he's got a trap behind him. Dubs a bit further back now. He's got a couple of seconds as well to the back of the Kickstarter of Silent Hunter. But look at the gaps at the top 3, ladies and gents. 2.4 seconds now. Blood Diamond is closing, using a lot of his ERS, because that light on the back of the Mercedes flashing away down the start-finish straight. Thomas has closed. It was a second. Maybe used quite a bit of his electrical energy as well, so lost a little bit down the start-finish straight. Could just be the wing levels and the difference between them as well. But they're pulling a gap now. Scott's Warrior 6.5 seconds. Monster, he's dropped off the back of Voxy. I don't know if he's made a little error somewhere, but those mediums, I'm just going to be interested to see what happens with the medium tyres now, because we've got another 15 laps to go after this one. It's going to be interesting to see. I don't know. I personally don't know how long the hard tyres will go, so if anyone does know, please do let me know. It'd be very helpful for all of our viewers. Surely it's only one more stop for all these drivers this evening. Snake sort of managing the gap, 2.4 seconds. It has come down, but not at the rate of knots that we normally see. There's a yellow flag in sector 2. That is, I think that might have been Dom. It was. He gets going again. Again, he's at one of a point. Oh, and I think that was Silent Hunter's had a moment somewhere as well. Yep, he did. That's quite an easy place to lose the rear, and when Saria goes around turn 7 and turn 8, it is very, very scary indeed. done it myself numerous times in the past, and it's very scary. You are just holding on for dear life, praying that a wall doesn't come and greet you, and you can get back on track. It doesn't spin you full 180 degrees. But now look at these gaps. Look at Thomas now. I think that crossover has happened. That crossover's there. M2 does pit. Now, off the medium tyres. I think now hard tyres are the way to go. 8 laps. So, in that basis, just for the 3 seconds, I'm wondering if we are going to see the drivers take the hard tyres another 5 laps or so, 5, 6 laps, get to 19, get to lap 20, maybe even 21 if they can, to then go easy on the mediums towards the end. Of course, still a green flag race as well, so fuel, a big talking point, a big factor. Yes, okay, we spent a couple of laps under the damp conditions, but here's Thomas. There we go, he stayed some of his battery, and now he makes that move look very easy indeed, and now up to second place. And now the hunt for the snake in the grass. Can he hide under a rock? Oh, his tyres crying as he pits now. So Snake pits, Blood Diamond pits as well. So when are we going to see the hard tyre runners pit? Not quite yet from all of them. Blood Diamond, 10 seconds. Just saying he needed a great result, and that is horrible. Speeding in the pit lane, got it wrong. Liquid Gas with Vox, he's still doing battle. But it's going to be interesting to see what Liquid Gas can do with his tyres. He's had those on, he went quite early when the changeover happened between the inters and it started to go dry. Of course, hard tyres there for, of course, Snake and Blood Diamond. Monster continuing on his way. Dropped off the back now, he's going to try and take him just that little bit longer. I wouldn't expect him to come in at the end of this lap, so will Vexman, I think. Tremor Silent Hunter 2. But M2 just got out ahead of the battle with Mike Trem as well. So important for him to get the heat at the tyres and have a bit of clean track. 1.2 seconds to the back of Bradders. Let's have a quick look at the penalty situation. Blood Diamond, as we know, Bradders also got 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. They will serve them at the next stop or at the end of the race. 3 seconds for Liquid Gas, Vexman, Mike and Dirty Dubs, and Trem with 6 seconds worth of penalties. Of course, we don't know if anybody is on a track limit warning. Now let's have a look. So I think we've got another 5 laps, 4 or 5 laps, and then we will have the hard tyre runners jump into the pits. I think Mr. Mond, oh, he's losing the rear. I think that is the signal. Pits for him. He doesn't, he keeps on going. Okay, interesting. But lost the rear out of turn 15. Those tyres, I'm sure, are crying out. Ready to pit now. As there is a yellow flag in sector 1 and 2. There's M2 on his fresh tyres. It was Dirty Dubs. That was it. Dirty Dubs out the way for the leader. But M2 sets fastest lap. So the fuel coming off his car now, and all the drivers' cars, and getting the heat out into the hard tyres, the grippier tyres than everyone around him. So he is pushing on for a strong finish. He's still got about 9 seconds to Blood Diamond. And that's going to be where he's looking at now. Because everyone around still has to pit. And he's, I think, 30 seconds. I'm trying to think how long the pit lane is around here. It's probably about 25, 26 seconds. You go deep into the final corner, of course, and then it's quite a quick entry, but not the longest. But it is a very fast part of the track, so mid-20s is probably where we're looking in terms of where we'll have our pit timing. So now this is key, because Blood Diamond has lost some time to Snake in all of that as well. And there we are. Got it right this time. So, a couple more laps I think for these drivers. As Foxy trying to have a look into turn 1, thought about it, thought against it, but he's still there with the inside. How did that work last time? He was very brave. Jack gives him room, sees him there, but Jack's now got the inside line into turn 3. Just holds on. Foxy 2-lap fresher tyres, using that grip as much as he possibly can. Snake sets the fast lap. Monster does now pit. So he'll come out in 10th. Fresher tyres than those ahead, such as Bradders, who I'm sure will still have to pit again. And most of the fresh tyres will be quick once he gets the heat into them. If got there for him, just didn't enjoy the wet conditions at McLaren. Not this one, the other one. And that's cost him dearly. And then struggled with the grip and the medium tyres. But now I think the hard tyres are probably a preferred tyre. They seem to be a bit nicer than the others, but Foxy getting very screwly through the banking. Thomas now in the lead. It's going to be interesting to see, because Snake is catching this pack now. But don't forget, it's going to be a difference of tyres as well once Thomas pits. Try and eke them another couple of laps before he decides that he has had enough. Jack and Foxy, no, they don't. They now pit. Wow, that was a bit leery as well from both of them. 10 laps on the mediums, it can be done. We've just seen Monster do it. Interesting. Okay, is that going to set off a chain reaction now for Scots Warrior and for Thomas? That's going to be very interesting now towards the end of this race. What about Bradders? Where's he going to pit? What about M2? Because they were fast. M2 does go through. That's the drivers you saw there on the other side of the screen. I'll leave him. What about Mike? Mike pitted quite early. Does come out ahead. But those two drivers behind on the medium tyres, they're going to be very fast immediately. As soon as they get the grip and the heat into those tyres. And now then, we have got to look. Yeah, they did look like there was an overtake through those bits. That was very aggressive indeed, trying not to lose any time at all. There's a yellow flag. I think that might be Dubs as well, just letting out the way it certainly is for Dubs. So, Scots Warrior in second. Thomas in the lead. Has a gap. But, where will he come out of the pits when he chooses to pit? With Snake and Blood Diamond. Dubs gets track limits. He was letting Silent Hunter through, but Dubs just getting to the end, which is commendable. Struggling for pace. Has had moments where he's been quick. Unfortunately, just the consistency not quite there yet, but he will learn, of course, and he will improve over time. So we have got Scots Warrior in the pits. Thomas, our leader, continues. Scots Warrior's crowd enough. He's done now. It's going to be interesting to see what he can liquid gases through on Mike. So that is key for him. Didn't want to be held up behind the Williams, who's got hard tyres on, while Jack has got the fresh medium boots on. Ooh, it's a bit wide. That might have been a warning. He may have got it. Where is Scots Warrior? He's coming to the end of the pit lane. This is going to be very, very close indeed. But Jack gets the move. He's done it in the pits. Oh, Scots Warrior didn't quite do it, but look at Mike. Where's Foxy on the inside there into turn 1? Foxy's done that a few times now. Mike's going to try it into turn 3. Wow, the grip and the extra oomph that the Aston Martin had through there. The little blip of throttle fired him ahead of the Williams. And now the two will recommence their battle. But now Jack, only 3.5 seconds. Does have that 3-second penalty though. Don't forget about it. That is going to be key. Now then, Thomas. When is he going to pit? Is he going to try to eke them out? Because we have 9 more laps to go. And he has a 12-second advantage over Snake. Can he keep those tyres working? Or is he going to pit where there is a bit of a gap? There is your answer. He pits. Difficult one, that pit entry. You can try and take that a little bit too. Try and be a bit cute with the white lines there, and you can actually get a track limit warning for it. So it's going to be the medium tyres. Yes, it certainly is for the Ferrari. Now then, we know Snake was going to take over. That Blood Diamond is also going to come through and take second, but Thomas, medium compound tyres. Not a penalty either. M2. Where's he going to come out? He's going to come out behind the Ferrari. The Ferrari you'll see in the distance. There it is. Exiting the pit lane. So Thomas comes out in third. Voxy now sets the fastest lap of the race. So, ladies and gents, hedge your bets. Scott's Warrior's actually got through on Mike as well now, but 2 seconds off the back of Liquid Gas and Voxy. There's a lot to play for. I said Andrew's going to be on the favourable tyre and coming up a bit quicker, so he's got 6 seconds to get to Mike. That's doable, I think. Mike's sort of in that point where he's in the dirty air as well of Liquid Gas and Voxy, but M2 now is going to struggle because look at this. We've got Liquid Gas and Voxy closing on M2, and Voxy still having an absolutely incredible race. Don't forget, had a qualifying ban, 15th on the grid, was running as high as the top 4 in the early stages, struggled when he first went to the dry conditions, but has fought on bravely, and he is currently in 6th and still looking very racy with our championship leader, who now is going to have the DRS. That 3 second penalty is going to hurt Jack massively, of course. He's struggling with his demons, not mentally. What I mean by that is he has got some technical issues, but there we go. One move done. What's M2 going to do about his teammate? Does he try to defend against his teammate? His teammate trying to go around the outside. Has he got the grip? Has Foxy got it very squirrely on the power? But he doesn't get the move done into the final corner. The side by side, the two Aston Martins just gets the move done. No love lost there. They were really battling, those two. Foxy got the DRS as well, but that's allowed Scott's Warrior to set the fastest lap just by a couple of hundredths. And now Foxy chases down Jack, who's got a large, well, clear track ahead of him basically, to Thomas. But 3 seconds worth of penalties. This is going to be interesting to see what they can do, what Jack can do when it comes to this at the end of the race. Some good wheel-to-wheel action we have seen. Blood Diamond still showing his pace. He's got that 10 seconds on. If it was a very questionable 10 seconds that the game likes to give sometimes, for corners or for leaving the pits, then we could look at it. I'm sure the stewards may look at that and say that's a bit overly harsh. If it's speeding in the pit lane, it's a bit of a slam dunker, and he is going to struggle because I'm trying to work out some gaps. It's 12.2 to Liquid Gas. It's actually 15.2 because of that. So that brings Voxy into play a little bit. So we could see Thomas second at the podium. Who's had a moment somewhere? Is that Mr. Mond? I think it was. Had a little squirrely moment. Yes, it was. He's dropped a bit of time now to Mike. He's coming towards the end of the race now. We've got 7 laps remaining. And the hunt for the win isn't over. Has Thomas got enough in the tank? He's got just over 7 seconds to catch the leader. We saw the hard tyres that just dropped in pace a little bit. They didn't necessarily drop off like the mediums did, but they dropped in pace. It was one of those where they just wear gradually. They just don't offer that level of grip that the mediums do, or they do even a lap or two before that. And now, interestingly, Voxy has made a mistake somewhere possibly. Maybe in that dirty air. He was right up the gearbox of the McLaren for so long. He's sort of underneath that dirty air in that window, but now, oh, look at that twitch as well out at turn 6, and it's just costing him time. He's in the dirty air. Once he dropped out of that shoe, the McLaren, he'll still feel a little bit of it because he won't have the toe that he was afforded for the most of this Grand Prix. And that's riding with a beautiful on-board footage, just fighting a little slightly, just feathering it a little bit more, struggling with the grip. M2 struggling as well. Mike surely will, I mean, he'll do well to Mike to take it to the end, in fairness. 10 laps already on his tyres. M2's, his tyres won't be feeling too sweet, but neither will the two up front. So Thomas had a 7-ish second gap. now only 6 seconds, so Thomas is absolutely flying now. And he soon will come up to the back, once again, of the Mercedes. We'll keep an eye on that gap. 2 seconds at the moment in time. Scots Warrior trying to go around the outside into turn 14. Goes very, very deep indeed. Where is he? No, there he is. Foxy holds on to the position. Scots Warrior going to take another stab of it. Does he get the better run through the final corner? How much battery has he got as M2 does pit behind? Oh, look at this, around the outside he goes, using battery, using the DRS, sweeps around the outside into turn 1. Scots Warrior up into 5th place, and now set to hunt down that 3-second gap that Liquid Gas has ahead. So M2 on soft tyres, interesting, if they go that far. Keep an eye on that one. Mike also pits for soft tyres, so they should go about 5 laps. That's going to be a fun one. Thomas, though, look at this, 1.1 seconds. That gap has just come tumbling down. And now, Blood Diamond, is there a crack in that diamond? Can he keep pushing on? Liquid Gas is 9.4 seconds. It still could be a good podium for Blood Diamond. Can't let up, though, because if Jack gets the grip between his teeth, he's going to have to keep pushing, because Scots Warrior and Foxy are there to swipe that 4th from our championship leader. But here we go, Thomas closing, DRS wide open on the Ferrari. Is he close enough? Is he using his battery? He goes to the inside, but damn it, doesn't really defend it. Thomas now into 2nd, makes the move clean as you like. Now then, 4.5 seconds to go. Lap 24 of 28. This could be a last lap shootout. Oh, goodness me. How am I going to cope with that? I'm sure Thomas, that's where he's aiming. 4 seconds. 4 laps. Anything can happen, folks. We have seen it. But Diamond needs to push on as well, trying to keep anything that he can alive with that one. Liquid Gas with the clean air ahead of him, trying to do the same thing. Those mediums will start to feel just a little bit hit and miss, but Scots Warriors tyres only 1 lap fresher, so pretty much similar boat to it. M2 on a charge. He's got the soft tyres on. He's got 5.5 seconds to Andrew. But has he got enough laps left? Will the soft tyres hold out? What can Mike do as well? Let's go back to the penalty situation. There it is. So, put down at 10 seconds, speeding in the pit lane. Brothers has served his 10 seconds. Dirty Dubs also has one as well. That was actually for corner cutting, though, as he let the lead cars go through. He was off track. And then 3 seconds for Liquid Gas, 3 for Mike, Vexman, Brothers, and 9 for the Scouser, Mr. Trem. But we have got a race on our hands, ladies and gents. Blood Diamond still pushing on. 0.6 of a second. Thomas has taken out this lap round. Not really enough. And he needs to get close to Snake to try to pinch the victory and potentially take back the lead in the championship. If not, he will certainly close the gap by the end of the evening. This is where he gets that 3 seconds, so it starts to get a bit shaky with the dirty air. You see, we feel it from a distance, but Scots Warrior and Voxy still doing battle. Voxy still, for me, currently Voxy driver of the day, coming off a difficult race last time, and then that qualifying ban. Still currently for me is our driver of the day, or my driver of the day. M2 on the soft tyres does set the fastest lap. He's close by 2 seconds to the back of Monster, but again, soft against fresh soft tyres against Warren Hards. It's kind of expected a little bit. Dubs just moving out of the way again for some of the leaders. Another half a second this lap that Thomas has taken out. Just crept up a little bit, so Snake just holding on. We've got 3 more laps after this one. 3 seconds is the gap. That needs to be more than half a second a lap that Thomas needs in order to try to take the victory here this evening in China. Who are you biased towards? Sorry, I might have missed that bit. Oh, Voxy. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Voxy with the drive of the day currently. But I tell you what, he's having a look. Scott Swarry defends very well indeed. Does Voxy manage to get the switch back? It looks very, very close indeed. There's the S11 on the outside into the final corner. That's very, very close. There was room given over the curve of the white line, but should hopefully be all right. Who got the DRS? It was Scott. Justin keeps ahead. All the time that's losing, and this could cement Jack in fourth, which will be a heck of a comeback for him. Again, could have been a contender for drive of the day alongside Voxy. And I think that, to be fair, I think that's pretty much the best call, really. I think a joint drive of the day between them as it stands. I'll pulse it to Snake there. Thomas got through on Blood Diamond. Difficult for Blood Diamond. I think that 10 seconds really hurt, but he should still be cemented on the podium as it stands. We still have 2.5 racing laps to go, and Thomas just can't break into that 3 seconds. He can't take a chunk out of it. With the time ticking down, the corners just ebbing away. But this is the main battle at the minute. M2 now in the dirty air of Monster as well. You'd think with superior grip he should still might get another 3 seconds. So that's 6 for him. So that will keep him behind Dom. It'll be a good result for him. Currently in 10th. And if he takes that 9th place, I'm sure he'll be very happy with that one. There's a lot to play out before the end of this race, ladies and gents. I don't believe we are done by any stretch of the imagination. So good evening all 12 of you. Please do get involved. Try with another penalty as well. Please do get involved and let me know your driver of the day if you've been watching. Let me know who you've been supporting, because I know who goes supporting. But Foxy having a look, he's got the DRS done. Oh, just into turn 1, makes the move on Scott's Warrior. Not very close indeed. Well, that was a difficult camera angle, so sorry about that. There was a car on the outside as well that may have put off the drivers slightly and distracted them. I got no 2.2, but I think he's just going to run out of time. Thomas had a few laps where the gaps didn't move. He needed to keep on the trajectory he was on and just couldn't quite do it. But Diamond's now dropped off the back. His tyres very worn indeed. Same as Snake's though, but Thomas's won't feel too good. This is a battle for 5th and 6th. Normally we'd look at battles at the front, but we can see the gaps there on the left hand side of the screen as liquid gas ahead does lock up into turn 11. This is the main gap. M2's closing to the back. Speeding in the pit lane. That's not ideal, my friend. You don't need to do that. You are going to get some points, but you don't need to be doing that. Get the hard tyres on just for another lap. I think he just wasn't feeling good. I don't know if he had any damage. Let's have a quick look at the Ferrari. I think so. So, final lap of the race. 1.8, 1.7 is the gap. Has Thomas got anything left in the tank in this first part of the lap? Has he got enough to close in? What's happened? What have we seen? What's happened there? M2 got through on Monster. He got through. Well, how did Monster do that? Oh, he went very wide, but that was a strange one. So 3 seconds for Andrew. Let's have a look at that. 3 seconds just for him, so that'll cement him in 8th place. I think we're too upset from that. Great qualifying, just a difficult race in the wet conditions for him. A battle 5th and 6th still going on, but we're going to look at the top 2. Has Thomas got anything in this middle sector? Has he got anything left in the tank? Has he got any battery left? Has Snake been saving any of his ERS charge in order to defend? I don't think Thomas is going to be close enough. Through 11, through turn 12, he has not got the DRS. That is important, because that means Snake doesn't have to look in his mirrors. Down for the final time, the long kilometre straight. There they are, the top 3 all in shot, and I'm sure we're going to see liquid gas come in the background. There he is. There's 4th and 5th. No, it wasn't. That's Jeremy's lap down. Sorry, do apologise. But Thomas did get a good drive down the finish, down the long straight, but it's going to be Snake that holds on. He rounds the final corner. The Alpine is going to take the win this evening here in Shanghai. Thomas takes second after a monster charge back. Blood Diamond will take third even after his 10-second penalty. Jack, after a big fight back, last on lap 1 by 6 seconds, takes fourth place. And the man who started last, who's my joint driver of the day, Voxy, is going to just take fifth ahead of Scott's Warrior in sixth. Monster is battling with M2. M2 had a moment somewhere. Monster's going to try it. Oh, he's not. Couldn't quite get there. M2 had a big moment somewhere on that lap. M2 takes seventh. Andrew is in eighth. Mike is going to come across the line in ninth. But Dom, I think, is just going to be within that 6 seconds that Mike has. Does. And he takes P9 ahead of Mike in 10th. And just holding on. Vexman and Brad is having a little ding-dong. We've missed this one. As we've been looking at some of the battles further up the field. But Vex was going to come across. Ooh, look at that. Brad is, 3 seconds, dude. Oh, and that would have been almost so close. Vexman takes 11th. Brad is in 12th. Silent Hunter, the other kicks Alba, in 13th. Trem and Dubs a lap down. Wow. So, there we are, ladies and gents. What a race that was. Interesting. There's a few little things coming into the chat there. I'm not going to read those out loud because I'm sure there's something that need to be seen in the stewards team. So we'll keep our eye on that one. And I will inform you of the results later next week as they come through to us. Now then, there's the podium celebrations, but let's go through to the important part, shall we? The winner is Snake with the fastest lap. For M2, driver of the day for the game is also Voxy, and the most overtakes, not surprising, coming from where he did on the grid. Scott's Warrior, the cleanest driver. It was a great battle with him and Voxy towards the end, wasn't it? But now we've got, there we are, the provisional standings are Snake in P1 with Thomas. In 2, Blood Diamond rounds off the podium. Liquid Gas on his turn from the back, as he was on lap 1, takes 4th. Voxy in 5th. Scott's Warrior, M2, Andrew Moore, Dom and Mike take the top 10 with Vexman ahead of the Kicks Albers of Silent Hunter and Brothers Trem in the other Ferrari in 14th, and Dirty Dubs in 15th. M2 does take the fastest lap there. Again, joint driver of the day for me has got to be between Foxy and the comeback from Jack. Starting P10 was last halfway around the first lap and has fought his way back with technical difficulties as well to 4th, but not taken away from Snake. Thomas and Blood Diamond, great podium there, gents. Absolutely fantastic racing indeed. Foxy as well, of course, my joint driver of the day from 15th on the grid. Well, there we are, folks. That was quite a nice battle, wasn't it? That was quite a nice one. Wasn't as hectic. There was some lovely battles, some fantastic wheel-to-wheel action. But there we are for another week. We'll be back 7 days' time for round 7 as we enter the second part of this season. The championship standings getting ever closer. Thomas just ebbs a little bit into Jack's lead in the championship. Of course, 2 drivers who are in that hunt as well have missed the race this evening. Could all go Pete Tong, or it could all get very exciting, couldn't it? So join us in a week's time. I look forward to seeing you all then. Have a lovely one, folks. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Good night.